right, we're back. We are back on Facebook. We're on YouTube. It's been how long? How
They
long?
said like, Carter, Coach Carter, what that was? Welcome back. Uh, what that
Welcome
was?
back.
You remember that song? Welcome back.
Right, I think that was IHOP song, but
That was
most
the song that sick the little show used to come on back in the day with
no, no.
Carter. Welcome back, Carter.
Okay, okay. But then
My
another
producer
song
hollered it from the other room.
there's a hip hop artist said I've been on for a minute, but we're now back with the jump off. So we back. We're back. We got Robert Brown and do this all here on the Watchdogs on our Black Media Network. We got a list of things to talk about today. Where do we begin? Because we're talking about the fairgrounds. And we're talking about the upcoming elections. And unfortunately, folks, I think we probably should begin here, Julius, if you are there. But we lost somebody important in not only Chatham County, not only United States, but across the world. A local icon in himself, Commissioner Rivers, who was a Harlem Globetrotter.
The number 3, and we got number 1 on that paper.
I know, but people's life is more important than all of this, so that's kind of why.
Of course, it is, but that was my tribute to him.
Okay, well, we'll start. We just want to send our condolences to the family, and we're going to end with that. Yeah,
that's my very good friend. We talk every week, and we'll talk about Gator in a few minutes. I wanted to make sure that we do give time to reflect on that part of what he meant to the Savannah community.
Right.
But that's on our agenda. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. The first thing up is the fairgrounds, and what's going on with the fairgrounds. Maybe you can give us the latest and give everybody a rundown. We hadn't been on in a month because of somebody hacking our page, and then some things happened in the last couple of weeks. And Dr. Betty Jones, I sent you a link if you want to come on.
Yeah, we need you. Jump on.
I sent you the link, but that's if you want.
Please come on, Betty Jones. We're gonna start with the gospel music with that. But I think what we should is talk about, for people who are viewing and are not from Savannah, we'll give you a history of what the fairgrounds is and what's going on now. So let's set the context. So picture it, Savannah, 19-something. We have a piece of land blocked aside in the middle of 4 or 5 Black communities. And at that time, for many years, you had an organization that would host a fair. Some of you all in rural areas recognize, you have the fair come every year. You have the rides, the cotton candy, the popcorn, the 4-H, set up a number of things, and it was for the city to enjoy. Well, we had fairgrounds right there in the middle of Black communities. People from all over the region would come, participate, enjoy the fair. And I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the fair, the powers that be decided we don't want to do the fair over here anymore. We don't want to do the fair over in that area. So what happened, we have neighborhoods around the area who were in thought processes of wanting to redevelop the land in a way that made sense. You had the city and certain alder people and certain mayors and certain city managers that wanted to develop that land in a certain way. And what you will find, if you really follow the track record of this, Julius, is that both sides had 2 very differing ideas. You have the residents, and Betty Jones talked about this. And again, I did a live, so you all can fact check. Betty Jones and Pastor Jones and a number of the others talked about having something there for the young people, the youth, and for the elderly, and for people in the community. The city and certain people wanted to have housing, sound stages, a number of things that the community really didn't agree with. So what we had a couple of weeks ago in the city council meeting was this decision to kind of move forward, irregardless of the fact that the 5th District Coalition, which is a group of leaders in the communities, decided we just wanted a 2-week moratorium, no vote, just 2 weeks. Let's sit down, let's talk about it with the city manager, the mayor, the alder person, and let's just be on the same page. Well, that alder person said, sure, we'll give you 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks? We'll give you 2 weeks. That same alderwoman got in the meeting, Julius, in the city council meeting, and moved to proceed with the vote that very same day. So basically, it was a lie. So that's where we are right now, and I'm hoping Pastor Jones will join us. But that's where we are. Just basically dishonesty, rushing, ignoring the voters, just no regard for the fact that ground typically belongs to the people. And the fact that you have a developer who's been under federal indictment in another state. So it's just a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks.
Okay. We got a lot of questions because, if you're not going to listen to the will of the voters, if you're not going to find out exactly what they want in this, and then he was a little defiant the other day, just like he was with Yamacrow when he said, Yamacrow what? Yamacrow who? What's up, Bernard? He did the same thing with the fairgrounds.
No.
Like, this is final. There ain't no more going back. It ain't no more say so. This is final. I don't know what you people over there talking about. We done had all the meetings with. He done went off and said what he said, but now he'll have to face those same voters because they're going to remember in November. You cannot just talk to people any way that you think you want to when you think that it's finished, that the topic is over. What's up, child? But he has this disdain for our community. He doesn't care, but he acts like he does to certain people. He's one of those aristocrats, those bougie type people who will come into the neighborhood only so that you can keep him in power. I would submit to the Chatham County community and to the state of Georgia that Van Johnson has been in power for too long, and that it is time for him to go. There's no other way for us to get a hold on this in this county, and it starts other than getting rid of people who are a detriment to our community. And people haven't seen it. We are all just fascinated with him being our elected official, but now he has to go because he's a cancer. And if you don't treat it, then it eats your life away. And so we really have to get rid of this guy. Another thing, Robert, we know that you're running for Estella Shabazz's seat, or the seat that she currently holds. And she's another one that whichever way the wind blows, if you can't make up your mind, I'm not going to, I could be the mayor and you could be the mayor and I could be the mayor pro tem. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to let you know I don't agree with you, and I'm not going to kiss your butt just because you the mayor.
Right.
We don't have to get along on everything. We can, it is great politics and good politics when you have people that don't agree, because then people see it differently. But when you have somebody and you have a council that's agreeing with the mayor 99% of the time, then he is God to them. Or they don't know, or they're lazy and don't want to know what the right thing to do, And we got a lot of people like that are lazy and don't want to do the right thing. Well, all the fast track the fairgrounds is going to get steamrolled by what she did in November. That's correct. And we want Robert right here sitting in front of us, Dr. Robert Bryant, to steamroll her. We need everybody to come out. We need everything.
That's right. And if you could help Pastor Jones really quick do this, I really would love her perspective. Bernard said hello earlier, and Bernard, a number of people, but Bernard in particular always said, what would you do? And I love that question. What would I do if I were in that seat? I would have stood by my word. I mean, what's 2 weeks to people who have built this neighborhood? What's 2 weeks to people who look like me and you and a number of our viewers who, like Pastor Jones, if it wasn't for people like them, we wouldn't have what we have. And I tell people the personal thing of this to me is the seed to gentrification of this neighborhood is that fairground. So what do I mean? Right now, the plan is to put 64. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. The mayor said 100. We don't even know how many affordable living spaces for elderly people. Which that's great. Whatever. Even though you have ignored the will of the people, fine. The problem with that people don't see is smoke and mirrors. 10 years down the road, that same development will be flipped, and now it will be market rate prices, and now you're regentrifying the area. That's how that works, folks. All it needs is 10 years. See, right now it sounds like a nice, cute package plan, but you got to look down the road. And that's what people are doing. Developers are thinking long term. They're not thinking for the right now. It's one of the reasons why certain communities have generational wealth and some don't, because they've thought this thing out really well. By design is what Alicia Blakely would say. But I would say what I would have done is granted the 2 weeks. And honestly, I probably would have granted a whole moratorium for a month until we had everybody comfortable on the same page. One of the things I do when I have phone calls with constituents or go to community meetings is try my best to just be present and make sure that they're comfortable. Everybody won't be happy, but everybody should feel comfortable about the decisions that we're making, whether it be them just voicing their opinions or whether it be we need to stop and have the conversation. But I think it's important that we give people voice and agency and not just side with developers just to make these things happen. And Dr. Jones, if you go to your email, it should be in your email. And you just click on that link and we'll add you. Just like with Keisha's show. And I'll keep going because I think you're trying to help her. The other part of this fairground thing is, you all, is the fact that the way I'm going to talk about leadership styles, because I think it's important. The current leadership style tends to kind of side with the majority without being able to stand alone. The one thing I pride myself on is what I think, Julius, you said it earlier. If I disagree with something, or if the constituents in the 5th district don't like something, or the constituents in the 5th district say we need to go a different direction, I don't care if I'm on an island by myself. I am going to advocate on their behalf, period. I'm not going down there to advocate for the Bryant family. I'm not going down there to advocate for Robert. I'm going down there to advocate for Fowler Park, for Papa Place, for New Hampstead, for Colonial Village, for Camp Park, for Liberty City, all these neighborhoods, for the people in these neighborhoods. That's what we should be doing. And, in the case of this fairground as an example, my job in that role as a 5th district alderperson would have been down there to fight tooth and nail to make sure there was no vote for at least 2 weeks based on the agreement that was made. So,
well, somebody has to be held accountable. We can't keep rewarding bad behavior. Bad behavior should not ever be rewarded, not in this country. And that's what we've been doing for almost 20 years now. We've been rewarding bad behavior. Well, I mean, for the first 16 years, we saw where there was an effort to try to do something, and then when the mayor was then a city council person, he couldn't get anything done. Now he's the mayor with the majority, supermajority council. 9-0 for whatever he wants to do. 9-0 if it's to help the community and do some of the things that he had advocated for 16 years prior. But now he don't want to do anything. And now it's election for the first 3 years. He said that black people didn't need nothing because we were the majority. He said this out his mouth. Black people didn't need nothing, y'all the majority. Now it's election time and they popping up all over, kissing babies everywhere, taking pictures with everybody, going to everybody's birthday party and funeral that you're not invited to. And it's politics all over again. And we can't be hoodwinked by these people. It comes a time when we got to say, enough is enough. and it stops right now, and this is it. This is it. So
yeah,
we're gonna be out. We're gonna be out real strong, and in the next couple of weeks, we got the city elections coming up all over the county. In this county, this is what we're more concerned with, is this county, Chatham County, and a lot of municipalities are up. Bernard, you can't be over it, Bernard. If you get over it, then we got to be in the place to make a difference. I understand your frustration, but Savannah's no different than any other city in this country. It's just that, I know, Bernard, you're tired of the BS in Savannah. There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot in Atlanta too. You're just not connected with it. Here you are more connected because it's your hometown, and we need you to stay in the fight with us. I'm tired too. That's why I'm trying to change things. And that's what you do when you're tired of something, you change it. If you're tired of the same station, you change that station. You're tired of the same person in your face, you change that person from out of your face. You're tired of the same friends, you change friends. And it's time for us to change City Hall all over. If y'all look, and people don't even realize this, if you look at Savannah, majority Black city council. You look at Garden City, majority Black city council. Come on down the water now. All the border cities, Polk Wentworth, majority Black city council. We have to do things in order. The only city that's doing anything for Black people is Port Wentworth. Now, how ironic is that? Where I live at. How ironic is that? Garden City, Natalie and Ricky are busting their butts trying to get some change, and the old guard got the old guard in there, still holding things back, not listening to the will of the people. Then you got Savannah. The old guard got their people in, holding back people. They tricked us to help get them elected. Yeah, we were bamboozled and hoodwinked, and we helped them. But now we have to be in that state of mind that you fooled us once, shame on you. You fooled me twice, shame on me. I'm not letting you fool me again. I see who you are. You still muted? Oh, you talking on the phone? Yeah, but was you saying something, Rob?
No, I was trying to have Pastor Jones hop in. So.
Oh, okay. Tell her we almost off of that subject.
I know.
We might have to have her as a special guest back after a while. But like I said, this is election time. We got a few months before the election in November, and our theme is Remember in November. And that's what we have to do. We got to remember in November. There comes a time when you just get fed up. Well, I have to say that in the regular cycle, it would have been politics. In Savannah, it's become politics. You're absolutely correct, Ivan. It is politics. They fool you thinking that they're doing something great for the city. You see them out on TV all the time. The news puts them up. Anybody the news put up that much, you cannot trust them. Anybody. Let's just do Savannah politics, Chatham County politics. You cannot trust anybody the local media puts on TV every single day. Nobody. And who's the only person on TV in Chatham County every single day? Why? Because he's delivering on their agenda.
You got it.
At last.
All right.
Do I need to do it?
I knew you could do that.
I know. When you're not technologically savvy, it take a while.
Well, if I may, Pastor Jones, because you deserve the intro. What we have before us, folks, is longtime resident of one of our 5th District neighborhoods and the current president of Fowler Park. Not only that, has served the community in so many ways as an educator, as a pastor, and just as a community leader. And so, if Julius, if we may, we give Pastor Jones the floor just to talk about her experience with this whole Fairgrounds thing. But we just thank you so much and thank God that you're allowed to be with us today, Dr. Jones. And just want to hear what your thoughts are. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. But what we want people to realize is you have no stake in the game other than representing the people of the 5th and representing the people of Fowler Park. And so the floor is yours, my friend.
That is so true. And we really do not get paid for what we do. And I think sometimes people think that because we're presidents of our neighborhoods that we get money. I receive no money for doing what I'm doing. But I live in the neighborhood. I grew up in the neighborhood. I was born in the neighborhood. So basically, knowing a whole lot about, seeing the changes that have come from the neighborhood. I can remember when the Coastal Empire Fair was across there where Sylvan Terrace was, and that's been many years ago. And once it got over here in Fowler Park, because it really sits between Fowler Park and Tatumville. When the land first came up for sale, which is the largest property that the city had at the time, we called, I should say I called, and I know there were others that probably called, Mayor Jackson, who was mayor at the time, Edna Jackson, to ask them to please consider purchasing the land because we were having a lot of trouble with our children, with crime and everything. And knowing how, with my children growing up out here, and how when Bolivet had the pals and all of that, and they had something to do to try to get them to purchase the land so that our children would have some place to go, to be safe, to have something to do, to have a library, to have spaces for learning, computer areas. And, we were just compiling many things and talking about many things, even the connecting of the fairground to Taterville Center to expand it to be a regional area. We talked about all of that. However, our county commissioner, who was Tabitha Odell at the time, was talking about the price that they paid, she would not have paid. That's what got her out of the seat, because she felt that the area was not conducive enough for people, for us to have an establishment like that in our neighborhoods. And I don't know why they always try to downplay Black neighborhoods, but we are taxpayers too. So what had happened? They first denied buying it, but then they considered and they bought it because they understood that it was the largest piece of property in the city. And so then we started meeting with them, talking about things that we wanted to consider, and we did not want any housing on the area at all. But and Stephanie, Stephanie Cutter was the city manager at the time, and she talked to us and said that in order for them to get back the money that they spent on the fairground, we would have to consider some housing. So after we went back and forth, we did say that we would wanted would allow housing, or however agree to the housing, but it was not supposed to be a massive amount of housing going out there because of the street, of the traffic that we have going on and everything else out here. The streets are narrow. When you think about other people's homes that butts on Medding Street, their front is right there on Medding Street, especially in Tatumville. And some people would have to come from Stiles Avenue in order to get there. 1 Street, 63rd Street, it doesn't even have right now, to this day, there is no curbing. So, you have all of these different things, the streets being narrow, because even when the fairground itself was out there, they had to make those streets one way, 62nd and 63rd, for people to come in and go out. So after considering and talking about what we wanted, the only person that came to us to try to work with us was Craig Gordon. And at the time he came, he talked about having a film studio. And up until that point, we were not hearing anything about filming, not here in Savannah. However, he came and he laid out what he thought would be helpful in making it a place that young people could come and learn how to do things, and the teaching and using Savannah State and probably, some of Armstrong and SCAD or whoever, to be able to teach them a skill or trade, or I'm not sure how to put that, but in order for them to have a job, but to teach them how to do do many things, and we thought that was good, but we had nobody else to come and to talk to us about what we wanted on there except us, talking with the city. And at one point, even our mayor said that we didn't know what we wanted. We did know what we do know what we want. We want something that's going to upgrade the neighborhood, or at least not to over gentrify us. Where taxes would be too high, because many of us are seniors in this area. Because I have now joined the senior group, and where others were seniors and we were younger now, because I've been president of Fowler Park trying to get someone else to want to run or whatever for over 20 some years. Because I live in Fowler Park, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm not going to give up on 5th District, because we need representation. We need to be at the table, even though they take our leaf out and sit it on the side. We still going to be there. They're still going to hear our voices. We're still going to say what we need to say and do what we need to do. And it's good to be able to like somebody, and when they do, and as I said to one other president, anything that they do, it's because that's their job to do it for us, because they represent us. We are the ones that put them in. And what has really drove it home is Alicia, Keisha, and Bernetta, because until then, most of us kind of sat back and, just felt that the representative would represent and do what needed to be done. Ever so often, and that's why with us, without Alderwoman now, is not haven't done anything really for us in a whole lot of years that she's been there. And when we ask her, and when she decided to come to meeting, and the residents are saying what they want, we're not even taking notes to to be respectful enough to take notes to find out what it is the people desire in the neighborhood. Now, many of the things that we have did not come through her. It came through a previous administration, like the playground. We did not have the playground, like the sign. We did not have the sign, like the boulevard, so they're calling it now, on 57th Street to have us. That didn't come. The speed bumps, that did not come through her. That came through a previous administration that we had been trying to do. We were even with the resource center that we have. It did not come through her. It came through others working with us. But yet and still, she'll take credit for it. And it's just not right. And I mean, enough is enough. And we explained that to her, because when she asked me would I support her again, because she came to us the last term and really begged us to give her another chance. Well, we did, and she's done us worse this time than before. And will bring you right up to something and back off from you. To me, when she talked about taking Keisha and those under her wing to mentor them, she was setting them up for failure.
Yeah.
Because we could see, really and truly, because when we went to Liberty Center that particular night, that was when they first got elected. We were supposed to be going there to talk about the fairground. I think she talked about the fairground for a hot second or so. Then after that, that was it. When she saw Alicia and those come in, then she started bashing Van, who was not even invited to the to that meeting.
Whoa.
And it went on. I got up and I left because, number one, I had not eaten, and the other thing was I wasn't going to sit there hearing her do that and leading them into that. But I think that they ended up finding out, because after a while she pulled away from them and left them on their own because she ended up getting a title pro tem, and because they at one time I saw the switch when when they were getting ready to take her pro tem from her, or she thought it was, then she decided, well, I guess I need to go ahead on to the other side. But yet and still, people are still having needs. Our communities still have needs. We still have flooding. We still have a lot of things going on in our neighborhoods. We're still having some crime. The crime is not quite as bad, but we're still having all of these things, and she does not know what's going on in the neighborhood, not unless she's talking to some other residents that may be telling her something, but they are quiet. Many of them don't even come out to meetings, so they don't know what's going on. And it's not a few trying to make a decision, barring other people from the meetings, because the meetings are open to the residents and they are welcome. They are welcome at Fowler Park neighborhood meetings when we have it on the second Tuesday of every month. We welcome them to come in and express their concerns. And when we know the concerns, we work on them. And all we ask them to do is that because their concern was reached or met, that they stay there and help us try to get others who have concerns for that to be done. Many of them do not know how things are being done or who's getting it done, but it's a few of us that's doing that. Because right now we know when she went and sent that email saying that she was going to take, because first of all, let me back up a little bit. When we got a last minute memo that the Fairgrounds was going to be on the agenda, Melda was called. Asking for it to be put, put off, taken off the agenda for that, to give us time to meet, to have a meeting with the residents. And he said, it was on there, could not be taken off at this point. It had to be removed by, I guess, the council. Well, we got an email from her stating that she would take and ask her constituents, would they help supporting to give us 2 weeks to have a meeting, which she set up. We didn't want her to set it up. We wanted the city manager to set it up, because the trust that we had in the confidence that we tried to have in her, it's really gone. Now there are some, and like I said, people can be paid in more than one way. People can accept money, or they can accept favors. And some people will sell their soul for that. I'm not for sale. I'm not for sale by any means. I don't care. You don't have that much money to offer me. Even though I'm not a rich person, you just don't have enough money to offer me for my integrity and my morals. And I'm not going to sell myself short, or the neighborhood short, because if you pay me, that means that I'm going to have to dance to your music. Right now, we don't have to dance to anybody's music. About that, we can speak what we need to speak and say what we need to say for the people that we represent. And that's why we're really in an uproar now. And yes, we are talking ethics on her, because and when I looked at the last meeting, that to me, that was laughable. I don't know whether y'all saw the last council meeting, but when she got up talking about recusing herself, what are you recusing yourself for now? You have already done all of these things all before. So now you think that we're so blind and we're so dumb that we're going to take your recusal on a subject now. People are not asleep anymore. Most of us now are awake, and we are not just awake, but we are moving and we are talking and we are saying what we need to say. And maybe I'm talking too much. Look, y'all may have some questions.
You're an old preacher, so
let me offer this, Julius. You said an important thing, and Julius, you've talked a lot about this, and one in particular, I'm not gonna call all of them, but Sister Benetta Lanier, who has really offered a lot for the West Side. And she has this thing called asset-based community development, which I'm leaning into. And she's just kind of the model of who I follow. But then you talked about Alicia and Keisha, and the reason why I want to bring them up, and I've heard this everywhere I go, and in every conversation I've had. Before you had Alicia, Keisha, and Benetta, a lot of people didn't know what was going on at that Gold Dome. A lot of people didn't know that our Black communities were being left out. A lot of people didn't realize that Black folk didn't get nothing in Savannah. And so Julius as well as Dr. Jones, if y'all could, I mean, if it weren't for those three, a lot of people wouldn't even know the fact that our Black communities were getting left out for many, many years.
You're right.
And that's the problem.
Right about it.
I mean, we were just ignorant to the fact that we were putting the wrong people in the representatives. Even when we put Estella Shabazz, I was a Shabazz supporter because then she used to, my only problem was she used to whisper everything when you don't need to whisper nothing to me. That's right, black man. You don't need to whisper nothing. Nobody's listening to us. Talk what you talking. Stand on what you're saying. And Estella has to go. Nobody ran against her last time because y'all gave her a break.
We did.
There is no break this time. Dr. Bryan has worked running against her, and we want to make sure that she is gone out of politics, period. Because see, her plan is she doesn't understand it. Her and Van, they really don't understand politics and how the numbers work. Van especially, he does not know how the numbers work. He's just a great orator, and he's a good person that can get in any crowd and just talk to you. But he's disingenuous with everything he does. But Estella has to understand that she won the races before the last election by 108 votes and by 88 votes. So she can easily be beaten. Dr. Bryan is doing the work to beat her. Van, he cannot win with the district over there with y'all. He cannot win without the first district being solidly behind him. He can't win these races. The third district pissed with him. The sixth district pissed with him. The first and the fifth. You cannot, and the seventh. And everybody wondering who the seventh district is. The seventh district is us.
Amen.
Us. We're the seventh district. There's a whole machine getting ready to come against him from the seventh district. You ain't seen nothing yet. We can telegraph it because ain't nothing you can do about it. Because we coming. And you better be ready. We coming.
You sound like Dr. Harris. Dr. Jones, what's your thoughts in that? I call them the power three. The power three. I have not been for them, and I'm not stroking nobody's ego or none of that.
No,
but
not
it's important. One of my platform issues is advocacy, and they advocate. They advocate. They advocate.
And Dr. Bryan and Mr. Hall. One of the things that you have to realize too is that we have not been abreast of this, and some of us, and I know I'm one, that it took a little bit, but not a whole lot for me to change. Because what happened, I stopped looking at the council meetings because when a lot of arguing going on, and when y'all did be doing the rabble and y'all get going, sometimes I have to just get off, and so I stopped looking at the council meeting. But then one thing about it is God has a way with all of us. And it was like, you need to listen. And I calmed down and I went and I started listening, not at the tone, not at the level of the talk, and I started listening at what was being said, what was being shown to us, the trickery, the deception, and all of these things. Then once you start understanding that, when you can take and actually let your start, instead of hearing, start listening. Because there is a difference between hearing and listening, because we hear things all the time. But when we start listening, we are concentrating on what that person is saying. And when they started telling us about that, many of us didn't know that we were the ones that were supposed to be telling the representatives what to do instead of them telling us what to do. We started looking, and I can tell you about some of the splashes. I stopped doing some of the splashes when I found out we would vote for those splashes for the neighborhoods, and what would end up happening is they once they got it passed, then they would reassign it to something else that would be up into the city, and our streets still look the same way, our neighborhoods still look the same way, and we were not getting any of the things. And our people are going to have to stop getting in what Keisha and those call those silos talking, instead of instead of being brave enough, God said he would give us the boldness. All you have to do is ask him, and he will give you what you need to do what you need to do. To open your mouth and let people know that you're dissatisfied. Telling me you're dissatisfied, and when I go up there to speak for you, that you disappear. I'm there by myself. You don't need to call me. Well, I'm not taking fight your battle, and you're not willing to fight your battle yourself. But I'm gonna fight the battle because I'm a part of what's going on. I lived here all of my life. So I mean, when we're getting calls from everywhere, from developers wanting to buy our land, wanting to buy us out, so they can come in and build houses right now that people can't afford to even purchase. What is affordable housing? They play with that term all the time, affordable housing. They'll take it and say, and I understand when the mayor said affordable housing is what you can afford, which is true. However, when others hear it said affordable housing, they're not thinking thousands of dollars for rent. They're not thinking that. When we talk about and I'm concerned, we need to start putting numbers to that name, affordable housing.
Well, all homes are affordable housing.
Huh?
Everything is affordable housing. If you can't afford it, you can't get it.
You're right.
Everything is affordable.
That's a
great
point.
Even about the units that they're talking about putting that from 60 to 80 for senior housing, affordable housing. Will our seniors be able to afford to live there?
Yeah.
Will they be able to have that kind of money? And then when you start looking at the plans that they take and have for that fairground, and even adding additional I think up to 400 housing, and they're talking about, and if you see the plans, they even have some because it's a lake that's over there by Tatum Community Center, and they're talking about now who's going to live in those condos? Who's going to take and live? And it ain't going to be many of us, if any. Right,
you catching it? You caught it too, right?
I mean,
right.
we know. I mean, because all they're going to do is call it lakeside housing, and they're going to attach two or three more thousand in order for you to have a lakeside house. And the neighborhood is a great neighborhood. Where we live is a great place because we're almost middle Savannah.
Yeah, the heart of Savannah.
And it's Savannah State, so you can get anywhere from here.
Dr. Jones
yes,
and Dr. Bryant, what we're trying to educate the people, and that's what this platform is all about. Everything we do here is about the uplifting of our community. Doesn't matter who live in it, but we just so happen to live in it. And what we have to do now is make sure that we educate, registrate, and demonstrate. You got Alicia, Bernetta, Keisha. They're all the women here, and they have been fighting. We didn't send them there just to look pretty. We sent them there to fight.
That's right.
We sent Dietrich and Linda there to fight. If you go back on Alicia Miller Blakely's show when Dietrich and Linda was on it, they talked worse than anybody in the city. Dietrich and Linda did. They were more harder than Alicia. And then when they got in there and got the pat on the back, and the old guard got to them and told them how they should be acting and governing, they all got into a shell. Well, those two, they got into a shell. And we haven't heard anything from them. When Keisha, Alicia, and Bernetta first got elected, Estella came over to all of us. We were in a group, and she said, "Oh, I'm so glad the cavalry has arrived." The cavalry, that's what she said. I was right there. The cavalry has arrived. We fit to show them how to govern now. But did she do that? She came over to their side. She saw that she couldn't make any inroads, and the fight was too hard for her, and she wanted it softer, and she was greedy. So what she did, she went back to the other side. This ain't no secret. She was with them. And she went back when they said, well, if you stay over there with them, we're going to take your mayor pro tem from you. Position. Right, damn, a mayor pro tem.
I know that's right. The people going to put in the mayor pro tem.
Yeah, title, which don't mean anything anyway, because they ain't going to let you ever have a chance to use it. Nobody's going to outshine Van on this council. That's why he shut them up from day one. Nobody in this city is going to outshine him, period. That's why he's on TV every single day. That's why he's on social media 3 times a week. You know, he don't want anybody to outshine him, but his light is about to be dimmed. I can tell you that.
Let me offer. I had another comment, but I want to, because since Bernard is a viewer today, I'm going to lean into his comment. And he's right. The Black community in Savannah is divided. We got the well-to-dos, and I'm going to say some names, and people are going to get mad, but I got to say it. I had wind of who went to her announcement, and you had the Van Johnsons and the Nick Palumbo. Well, Nick, you don't count. The Otis Johnsons and all of them. My question to them is, and these are former mayors, what in the last 12 years has been done to make you so intrigued to go support someone? That's my first question. Second of all, the only platform issue they heard in this endorsement they provided was we can move forward together, which Dr. Jones, I find questionable, because you want to move forward together now, but in the last 12 years, you've been moving forward by yourself. So I agree with Bernard in the fact that we got to get the well-to-dos, those of us who think they have money of a rhyme, those of us who live in Haversham Woods, yeah, that's a shout out. I know who you are. You know what I'm talking about. To come together and realize this. When you support somebody who has aided and abetted this mayor in the destruction of the Black community, you two are the problem. And at the end of the day, I stand on the right side of history, meaning that what you said, Dr. Jones, was right. The SPLOS piece, I want to go back to that SPLOS. It has come to me from a very reliable source, somebody who used to work for the county, that this alderwoman, when it came time to advocate for SPLOS, they will advocate for hundreds of thousands, while you have a Nick Palumbo and a Curtis Purdy advocating for millions. What would I do? I want us to have our fair share of the pie. There's no way in the world the 1st and the 5th district have looked the same way in 45 years. Ain't nothing changed. And the fact that SCAD has got its footprint deeply into the grains of Montgomery Street. And so we got to change the course now before we don't have a course to even walk on.
That is true. We got city elections coming up, Dr. Jones. We got Bernetta Lanier running back for her seat. We got Alicia Miller Blakely running back for her seat. We got Keisha jumping to the mayor spot. And when Keisha jump into the mayor spot, we got Rashida Edwards in her running for her position. We got Todd Rose running against Linda Wilder Bryant, and we got Mike McCann running against Curtis Purdy. All the Curtis Purdy and Stella Shabazz and Dietrich and Linda betrayed us when they told us what they were going to do once they got into office, and they have done the exact opposite. They think that giving out some blankets under the bridge is bringing economic wealth to our communities. They think that giving out some kids free McDonald's meals is bringing back economic prosperity to the underserved communities. You can't think like that. And they think that they can put a dumpster to pick up trash at 36 and Waters and at other locations throughout the 3rd district, 2nd district, and 4th district, and think that they're doing the will of the people. Anybody can get those trash cans. Anybody can do the things that they're doing.
That's right. And if I could, going back to Bernard's question, what would you do, Robert? I showed you what I would do. Let me tell you something, Julius. You hit the nail on the head. You get out here and serve these folks, and let me tell you, one of my favorite things to do is to work with any homeless organization that's serving food and go out there and just hear their stories, to see them smile, to hear that they are They're just like any of us. Ain't none of us but one check away from being homeless. Any of us. And when you realize and you listen to these people, and you sit with them and you touch them and they just happy and you hear their stories, that's what counts. When you're sitting out here with these young people and you're cleaning the streets, man, I was out there today with a young 5-year-old. I was floored. Let me tell you something. I always say this. Our kids are the smartest on this earth, period. Hands down. This young brother, 5 years old, was able to tell me who LeBron James was, that he played for the Lakers and what school he went to. You get inspired by the people that are not only in the city of Savannah, but in our district, our black children, our black people, us. We are one powerful people. And that's the thing that we have people on this council that don't understand. You got powerful people who, man, when you get up there and you interact with these folk, man, please, you would be so inspired, and it makes you just proud to know that the best is yet to come.
You don't think that they are afraid because that's why they're trying to disperse us from being in the city, trying to get us to go someplace else?
Well, it's been a trick since slavery. You divide and conquer. You divide the black community, you divide the black family, and you conquer.
That's exactly what they do. That's what they do. And then when you think you got enough of the people, you try to drown out the ones that are still advocating against you. Bernard, I'm glad Bernard said this, because I've been listening to my brother, who my childhood friend, for a couple of months now. And for the last couple of months, he has had a different mindset. And he said he's going to be honest. Van Johnson trying to change my mind about him is not working. Well, and I know something was going on, because Bernard's attitude a little bit changed toward Van Johnson. Will fool you people. He will trick you. He will get you and sit you down, and you would think, oh, okay, this guy's great. He's going to be good. But he's nothing but a lie. Victor Cooper told me this years ago. When I was helping Van, he said, Julius, you will see. He said, you will rue the day that you help this man. He told me this on everything. He's dead now. But he told me this. You will curse the day that you help this man. He said, because he don't mean nobody no good but himself. He said, what has he done for anybody? Even his friends. What friend has he gotten in a position? None.
But you know what? Let me.
Oh.
No, but Pastor Jones, let me, because I'll forget. You think you old? I'm older. I'm kidding. One thing Andrew Young did, and people don't realize this, and mark my word, Andrew Young, because of his leadership of Maynard Jackson, they created what? Millionaires. Millionaires that look like us. That's what we're gonna do with Edwards, Bryant, Rose, Keisha, Alicia, and Bernetta. We ain't about us. It's about our community, and we're gonna create some serious economic distribution. And you know how we're gonna do it? It's called, we're gonna get rid of those legacy contracts. So I already got about 4 or 5 black community construction companies and contracts we're gonna give out. Oh, all I want you to know is if you're a contractor and you look like us, start following the policy. Look what you got to do, because guess what? There's a new day coming. And I'm sorry, Dr. Jones, but I had to say it because
but that's okay.
Tired of us being left out the conversation.
Because I was just piggybacking on what Julius was talking about, in that, you know, when Van was an alderman, I can't say, I mean, Edna and all, they helped me. They truly, truly helped me. I've said this to him, that all that he had done for us, and Edna knows, you know, because with Fowler Park, I can't tell you enough. I mean, he truly, truly helped me, and you know. But then once he became mayor, it looked like he just flipped. And I mean, that's where the hurt came in, because this is not the man that helped me to do what I needed to do, and I could not gather and understand. But as you say, the truth is to be told. And with knowing what's going on, no, I can't stand there anymore. You know, when your eyes are open and God shows you what you need to do, you do that. You go with that. And but it's not that he didn't, because we never would have had an overlay. And I know some people take and fight about the overlay, but we have an overlay on Montgomery Street. And that overlay did not come to keep blacks or anybody else from from having a business and making money. It came because we were having a high rate of crime out here because of the things that were going on with two places being 24 hours a day, and people walking all night and harming some of the people that lived in the neighborhood. But at the same time, if it had not been, he showed us how to do it when Estella got mad because he was helping us. And finally, she got in place when she knew that we were going to do it. And when we met the what do you call them? Dietrich and those from the state, when they come down, we talk to them because what do they call them? When they come, the representatives come down once or twice a year, and we spoke to them because the council would always say they could not say no about an alcohol license if the people met the criteria, because that was from the state. Well, the state people say they didn't know nothing about that, and that's what got us formed as a collaborative, with people coming, president collaborative, with people coming from presidents coming from other areas, joining together to find out to fight for that, for our people, for our neighborhoods to be better. So, well, but we were fooled. Now I think a lot of us were fooled, but when your eyes are open and you know when you learn to do, when you know to do better, you do that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, in this, and that is true. We got Van telling us that he was gonna put that leaf. See that leaf behind his back? That's that leaf he said that he was gonna put in the table. That's the leaf he said that he was going to put in the table so the table could be bigger so all of us could sit at the table.
Wow.
All of us. But nobody's sitting at the table because he got the leaf behind his back. So he said, I lied. Psych. Y'all can get this t-shirt. This t-shirt is on sale right now. Support the campaign so we can get rid of this man. Then, you got this one also, the campaign, the dump van. And then you got this one also, the cane van. We're going to put him in the can, y'all, and get rid of him. These are the three people that y'all need to be supporting right here. They're running strong, and they're doing the things and waking the people up about things going on in this city. Dr. Bryant is running for the 5th district against Estella Shabazz. We're going to replace her. Y'all just listen. We're going to replace her. Dr. Bryant will do what is necessary and what the people want. Not what to go along to get along. He's going to do what the people want done in the 5th district. If you want great representation, then put great people in place. Those people who show us who they are, we need to believe them. Now, we're going to have to move on because we got one other topic. We got the elections all over the city, all over the county with Pula, Poe and Worth. You got Garden City. You got these elections coming up in Savannah, and then the county elections are next year. The judges and everything. You see all of them going out to affairs and everything now. They ain't been going out nowhere the last 3 years, but now the last year you see everybody everywhere kissing babies and shaking hands and being in parades. But they're so disingenuous. Those are people that we need to watch. They only come around when it's time for them to get something from us. Right. So we need people who are always going to be contributors to these communities. A good friend of mine died last night. Yeah. A lot of people, he was my pain in my side. This guy here, and I'm gonna tell you, this me and him at my birthday party. He came out to my birthday party. This is you can say what you want to say about this guy here, but when I called him, he picked up the phone. When he called me, I picked up the phone. It was an every week thing. We didn't miss a week talking. He's a good friend of mine. People don't pick my friends. A lot of people probably didn't like Gator. Gator's world famous. Gator's probably one of the most famous people to ever come out of Savannah. Beach High School alumni. I ain't gonna hold that against you and him, Dr. Jones.
Hey, everybody can't be a bulldog.
Oh Lord,
I'm not gonna hold that. I'm not gonna hold that against you and Gator. But Gator was my man. That was my main. He called me 2 or 3 times sometimes every week. I talked Gator into running for office. I did because he kept calling me every day crying about some event or something that was happening with Beach High School or with the school not letting him do things in the system. So I said, Gator, and he was crying about how he was being blackballed by certain commissioners and everything. I said, well, Gator, why don't you just run for office? Why don't you just run for office? I said, you solved the problem. Go run for office. And he ran, and he was put in office, and he was serving until he died this morning. And that's my good friend. Nobody can't tell me, and like I said, nobody don't pick my friends. I pick my friends because I pick my friends by how they treat me. Mm-hmm. Me and Gator cussed each other out every day, but it was love. Right. He's a legend to me. I respected him for what he did. I remember as a little boy seeing the Harlem Globetrotters as a kid, watching the Harlem Globetrotters cartoons and stuff. So I know what the roads he traveled. Yeah, everybody don't have a perfect life. Show me somebody that hey,
that's right.
Understood me and accepted me for who I was.
That's right.
And took me to places that I wouldn't normally go, in rooms I wouldn't normally go in. Introduced me to people that I wouldn't normally meet. And I appreciate that. Whenever I asked him, I used to take my kids over on he had an office over there off of East Broad Street in the old cleaners building with some friends. He that's where he used to always have his office at. I used to go over there. He'd give them basketballs and all. And he was a great mentor and a great inspiration to kids. I didn't like the fact that he was being blocked out and a lot of things that he was trying to do. But and I was trying to help him as much as I can. But when you're blacked out and blackballed, ain't too much you can do. But anyway, I want to celebrate his life. He had cancer, and it gets the best of us. Sometimes it drains you. I talked to him last week, and he said, "Juice, I can't make the meeting. I had a meeting scheduled for him to come out." He said, "I can't make it." He said, "Man, I just got out of chemo, and he said, I'm too tired. I'm drained." We got to celebrate the people in our lives and not always just talk about them. Right. You got people that were far worse and far more detriment to our community. Clarence Thomas, you got Van Johnson, you got people who are much more detriment. This man here was a national hero. Wherever he went, other people celebrated. That's one of the problems with Savannah. We don't celebrate our celebrities the way we got Molly Music on the national stage, but we don't celebrate this guy. He's right here, went to BC. He's on the national stage recording with everybody on All American Idol, every place, making songs with everybody, but we don't celebrate him. You go out of town, you hear his music in the malls. You don't hear him in Savannah. We don't celebrate our people. You're celebrating Flagey now a little, but you don't celebrate our other celebrities. You didn't celebrate Purvis Ellison. You didn't celebrate Mary J. Blige. You didn't celebrate Mary Davis from the SOS Band. Jimmy Lloyd Brown from Brick. It's a lot of people from here, and we don't celebrate them. We don't. We should have a Hall of Fame for these people that they all are in, so people can come and see how rich the talent is from Savannah and from this area. But anyway, I'm talking.
And you said a key thing, Julius, that it ties back to our race with the 5th District. Ties back to so many things in that if you understand our culture and our community, and that's how families operate in Black community. We're going to argue, cuss, and say things to one another we don't like. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to mess with us. You're a great example. My cousin Smiley. Me and her go back and forth. And Bernard Brown, me and him go back and forth, and sometimes Julius and Ted go back and forth. But in the day, ain't nobody gonna bother them but us. And that's the beauty of the community. And Dr. Jones, you got family too. We all got. You said something, Julius, that I want to add to this. Ain't nobody around here perfect. We all got our own vices, challenges, demons, and things we got to make it through. But guess what? When you realize the power of this community, we made it through slavery. We made it through disrespect. We made it through not being able to run for president. We made it through a lot of stuff. But guess what? People ain't got that we got. It's called resilience. It's called cohesiveness. And we got to tap into those skill sets. We got to tap into the fact that we don't need nobody to tell us what to do. Going back to what I said earlier, Dr. Jones, with Maynard and Brother Andrews. Do you know a candidate that's running for city council in Atlanta? They don't have to go but to one community. They're wrong. Us. Mm-hmm. When we gonna get there? So I wanted to tap into that to say people got to realize what you said, Julius. That so much content and value in the fact that when we realize that we can sustain our own, as we always have, how much growth and power we can have in this city.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say goodbye to my boy. That's my main man there, y'all. That was my main man. Wherever we was, we just jugged each other. That's what we did. You know, everything I called him to, he came. Whether it's at a house party at my house or whether it was a birthday party anywhere, he was always there. Him and Yavo, those guys are old friends of mine, and I appreciate both of them. And I want to shout out to Yavo. He had surgery yesterday, successful surgery, and he and I and Gator all are just good friends. And we're gonna miss Gator. I know I am, because he was one of the people that I talked to on a regular basis that run just talking politics. Me, him, Charlie Brown. Me and Charlie would be on the phone on three-way all the time talking politics. And gonna miss old boy there. That's my man. Anyway, back on topic.
Cordy Wright.
Ma'am?
I said we also lost Cordy Wright. He was assistant principal.
Oh, at Beach?
No, I'm trying to remember whether he was, because I left so long ago, I can't remember whether he was at Beach, but he did work at 208 Bull.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, Robert, you got anything else? We appreciate you coming on, Sister Jones, and filling us in with the Fairgrounds. And
you're welcome.
We're going to continue to pound this because we want people to remember in November. We don't want anything to be not shared or not looked at in a way so that people can get the full picture of what these people are doing and how they're ignoring the will of the people. And that's what it's all about. If you're not going to be run for office to do the will of the people, then you shouldn't run. It's not about you.
No, it's not about us.
That's right. That's right. I want to go back. You mentioned a few candidates a few moments ago, and while I cannot nor will I endorse until it's time, I do want to give a shout out to Rashida and Mike and Todd. Todd and Rashida, let me tell you something about those. Let me tell you something. I call us the Four Horsemen, but I am the oldest, I think, of the four, which is cool and not cool. But Rashida, let me tell you something. Rashida and Todd out here doing some man. Listen, they got a basketball tournament coming up. I just love. Let me tell you something I love about our younger folks. I love to see our younger folks with this energy. It just inspires me. It's like, oh my goodness. So they're gonna have this basketball tournament, and I don't know if y'all seen the flyer, but man, we got to support those two.
Yeah.
Basketball tournament, and man,
make sure we got it up. Make sure we got it up for Wednesday, Robert. Make sure we got these flyers up and their campaign things so that we can show it also.
Oh, well, I get it. But the number one thing here is I want Jay Jones to play so I can play too, and I guard him. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
block his shot.
I want Bernard to play so I can guard. I can guard Bernard.
Really. You can't guard Bernard. He's too tall. Bernard might slam on you if he.
Right.
Yeah, but those are some great candidates. I love the energy that Rashida is showing. I love the fact that Todd is his own man, and he's a man of God, and he's gonna let that rule him. If you go to City Hall and you're letting that rule you. If you go to any elected office and you're going to do what's in your heart first, then what matters to your pocket, then you're the right person for the job. Because it doesn't matter how that person votes. I'm voting because this is the right thing to do for the people. The people have are in need of this. So this is why This is why I am voting for it. And once you do that, there's nothing else that you need to explain to anybody. People see that you're doing the right thing. But when all you're doing is helping to build generational wealth for somebody else, when all you're doing is helping to gentrify an area that you know shouldn't, when all that you're doing is to erase everything black around you, and you call it good governance, it is time for you to go. There's something wrong with you. And we can't keep electing those type of people. We need to vet them a little bit better. And I believe that process is happening now. And it won't be no more rubber stamps or no butt kisses in our lineage.
Yes, and we must let God always lead us.
Amen.
That's correct.
We can't say we're Christians and we're not, and we're mistreating others. We can't.
Let me tell you, we do it far too much.
No.
Far too much.
That's right.
And I thank you for allowing me to come on today.
Oh, no problem. You can come on anytime you want. I'm gonna do a couple of these, read these posts. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, this evening. And I ain't gonna read them. I'm just putting them all up. And we appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate y'all sharing. We appreciate everybody who contributes to our platform. It's 30 or 40 of us that does shows that keep this alive, and we're trying to make sure that we keep it going, because what it is we can't do this without you all. And it gets heavy sometimes. We get tired. We get tired.
Yeah.
But we got to keep on, And so just please, everybody, keep watching, keep sharing, keep us in your prayers, and we can't do it without you.
Amen.
All right. Well,
Pastor Smalls at 6:00 this afternoon. Pastor Smalls at 6:00 this afternoon. Don't y'all forget Political Action Committee, Unity Political Action Committee on Facebook, and then we'll replay it the next day on Our Black Media. But Unity Political Action Committee every Saturday at 6:00. Don't forget, and then the Weeping Time every Sunday at 4:00 on Facebook. All you gotta do is get the link. We need to be supportive of all these things. There's a lot of things coming down the line. We're going to be asking a whole lot of y'all for support and to come out and volunteer so that we can change where we live at. You got to change where you live at first. We always caring about all over everywhere. We were talking about the Tennessee 3, but we forgot we got the Savannah 3 right here.
All right. Sweep around your own front door.
This is in your front door. You can make a difference here. These 3 young ladies right here, those 3 ladies there were doing nothing different than what they were doing in Tennessee.
That's right.
Nothing. Their advocacy for the people and the citizens of Chatham County, not just Savannah, of Chatham County, because they're everywhere doing everything that they can. It's just as important as the Tennessee 3.
That's right.
Because it concerns you, those ones that are watching right now, those people. So always share. You got 500 people on your Facebook thread. Share this program with them while you watching. If you don't know how to share it, don't teach it. It's just a button to click. You share it so everybody can watch it. Everybody needs to watch what we're doing. Everybody needs to be informed. We don't need people out there that's ignorant to what's going on in our elected city halls. So I appreciate you.
I thank God for you.
I'll get you before we go.
Peace out.
We gotta say this. This is because Ebony Sports supporters out to Thursday. We just want to thank the Philadelphia Eagles for recognizing good talent. Keely Ringo is the newest one to go. So go Bulldog Eagles.
Man, they're gonna change them to the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Hey, we ready. Hey, when you see good talent,
man. And I love both teams. They just ran into Mahomes. Mahomes just drafted my one of my childhood friends. His son just got drafted by offensive line for Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs.
Okay.
You know?
Hey,
so
shout out to my young brother, especially Nolan Smith. If you all don't know, Nolan Smith is here from Savannah, but it's always good to see our young brothers doing good and sisters doing good things. We're gonna get out here because we're talking about 100 different things.
Yeah, before you go, just to let you and remind you that Reverend Dr. Leonard Small is celebrating his 40th church anniversary, his pastoral anniversary, on May 19th, which is a banquet, and on Sunday, which is the 21st. We invite you to come out.
Can you please text me that? Because I definitely want to support.
You already got a ticket.
I got a ticket. That's fine. I'll still give a donation, even though I got a ticket.
You already got a ticket.
Okay, well, I'll give another donation.
We got a table already.
Okay, well, I give him.
And we thank you for.
I'm giving him a love offering then. Anything else?
Whatever. We appreciate it.
They don't be listening to me, Dr. Jones.
That's fine. We want to make sure he.
Did I not say there's a difference in hearing and listening?
Right. Well, I want to make sure he feel love. That's all.
Yeah. We won't. If we could get another table, we will. People need to get on. Our Black Media has a table already. Make sure we up front on the roast him also, Dr. Jones.
Okay, and not only that, because he's down there in Brunswick right now.
Oh yeah, he down there fighting. They done cite him again or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why he go by? We'll talk later. Bye, y'all.
Well, you know what? One thing about it is when you have a calling and God has called you to do something, you're not really by yourself because He's there with you.
I agree.
And that means that if you got to go do it, sometimes we have to stand alone.
Like
some of you are doing
again now. Come on.
You're doing right now. Because you have been called for a time such as this. And I tell Keisha and Alicia that all the time.
Amen.
And I thank God for them, and I thank God for what they're doing.
I agree.
Because many of us, before we call because I know I call on them, and Tanya Milton, who's our fifth, commission.
Good people.
They keep us informed. I greatly appreciate them.
All right, Joe, we'll be here next Saturday. We'll be back, and y'all have a great week. And
I'll end this one, Robert. I'll end it.
All right.
And because I want to put that thing up on the end. So I'll end it. Don't forget, and also June 10th, we got the All Black Affair with one of our shows. You got a seat there too, Robert. On June 10th, we got the All Black Affair with one of our shows. ScoreBiggerDating.com. They come on Friday, 8:30 to 10:30 on this platform. 8:30 to 10:30 every Friday they come on. But we got we have a table there also. Okay. All right. And that's it. All hearts and minds good. We will see you later. And we love you. Share. And we'll get with you, Dr. Jones. We love you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Let me get. I thought I was in the right box, but I guess I was.
Like this.